Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, and thank you for joining the Sigma Mobility class this morning. I am Coach Ray. So for today, we are going to use 2 long sticks. So we're going to get into some dynamic warm-ups today, and particularly in the Caustic Squat, or a side lunge, as some people may know it. We're also going to get into some core work, right? We're going to get into a little bit of hip drills as well for the strengthening portion. At the end, we are going to work on stretching out the lower back, right? Most people have some tightness there, so let's work on stretching that out. All right, so I'm going to take 1 long stick here, okay? We're going to start with the feet and ankles as usual. And so what I want to do here, I want to take a horse stance, feet roughly about shoulder width apart, toes facing forward. I want to have the stick in line with my spine here, so in midline here. I'm going to pick at the bottom, angle the bottom in towards me, place it down. We're just going to use this for balance at this point, okay? What I want to do here, I'm first going to bring up my right heel. I want to keep all 5 toes in contact with the floor. So we're going to slowly teeter-totter back and forth here. So I'm going to bring my right heel down as my left heel comes up. I want to hover that right heel off the floor here, okay? So I'm going to bring that left heel down, bring the right heel up, hovering the left heel, okay? Good, right heel down, left heel up. Make sure you're controlling it. Pelvis should be stacked under the spine, right? Arm straight, right heel up, left heel down. Good. Make sure you're breathing here. Left heel up, right heel down. Do not let those heels touch the floor, okay? Right heel up, left heel down. Good. Let's go to the left one last time. Left heel up. Good. Bring both heels down to the floor slowly. And perfect. Good. And so now we're going to go with lateral shifting. However, we're going to change the position. So we're going to get in a split stance here. Okay. I'm going to have my left leg forward. My left leg isn't going to be forward all that much, right? This is going to be forward. This is enough for me to kind of stack that knee over the ankle without it being too much load on my back hip, okay? So we're going to go with lateral shifting. I'm going to have the stick on my left side as my left leg is forward, and I want to have the bottom of the stick in line with my heel here, okay? I'm going to load that front leg by shifting some of my weight forward here, okay? Just a little. My left hand is going to be at shoulder height. Now what I want to do is I want to load, then I want to lift that left heel up. My back foot is, all 5 toes and ball of my foot is on the floor here. Now I'm going to shift laterally. So I'm just going to lift my heel a little, going to shift my heel inwards. Good. And now I'm going to shift my heel out. So I'm on the pinky toe now, right? Now I'm going to shift my heel inwards. Good, then out. Good, in. And out. One more time, in. And out. Back to center, and down. Come up, then we're gonna switch sides. So now sticks on the right side. Remember, bottom of the stick is in line with the heel. Arm straight at roughly about shoulder height. All right. So let's go ahead and load that front leg. Get this back leg straight. Lift that right heel up. Okay. Shift the heel in. Good. Then out. Want to make sure you're controlling it. Shift in. You want to get as minimal movement from the knee as possible here. Shift out. Good, in, out, one more time, in, and out. Good, back to center, and down. Perfect. So now we're gonna go back to that horse stance, but we're gonna go circles now, okay? So, feet roughly about, again, shoulder width apart, toes are gonna be facing forward, stick is lined up in the middle here. Okay, So now I'm gonna go circles. We're gonna do one side at a time here. So let's go ahead and start with that left ankle first. So what we're gonna do from here, hands are stacked at roughly about sternum height, arms are straight, staying up tall. I'm gonna bring that left heel up, and I wanna grab the ground with my right foot here to keep it active. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw a circle. So I'm gonna draw a circle with my heel. So I'm gonna start off by going from 12 to 3 to 6, 9, 12, okay? 3, 6, 9, 12, good. 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's go ahead and switch directions. 9, 6, 3, 12. 9, 6, 3, 12. Let's go one more. 9, 6, 3, and 12. Good. Bring that left heel back down. Now we're going to switch to the right. So right heel comes up to 12 o'clock. Okay. Let's go 3, 6, 9, 12. Good. 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's go one more. 3, 6, 9, 12. Now let's go opposite direction. 9, 6, 3, 12. Good. 9, 6, 3, 12. One more time. 9, 6, 3, and 12. Back down slow and relax. Good. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my other long stick here. So we're going to have 2 sticks. We're going to work with pelvic tilts. So we're going to go anterior, posterior first, and we'll get into the lateral. And after that, we'll get into some of the more dynamic warm-ups here. So I'm going to have my feet roughly about shoulder width apart, toes are facing forward, okay? And I want to actually have both sticks about roughly 6 inches from in front of my toes, okay? Now, what I want to do here is grab the sticks with my hands at shoulder height, drop into that horse stance, pelvis stacked under the spine, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drive the sticks down with 20% tension and tuck my pelvis posteriorly. So from here, arms straight, I'm going to drive the sticks down 20%. I'm going to do a posterior tilt and squeeze my glutes. Brown, I want you to think about forcing the knees out as you do this, just to also add in that abduction with the hip extension, okay? Now I'm going to do an anterior tilt. Still driving those sticks down 20%. Feel those lower back tissues activate. Do a posterior tilt. Still driving those sticks into the floor. Spreading those knees. Okay. Getting a hip abduction. Anterior tilt. You should feel balanced on your entire foot, not rocking back and forth. Posterior tilt. Squeeze those glutes. Make sure they're tight. Knees out. Anterior tilt. Good. Excellent. One more time. Posterior tilt. Squeeze those glutes. Anterior tilt. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Back to center. And now we're going to get into the lateral shifting or lateral tilt. So we're going to bump one hip up at a time. Okay. The other hip drops. You're driving the stick down that you're bumping your hip up to. So if you're bumping your hip up to the right, you're going to really drive that right stick down, okay? So in that neutral position, staying up tall, pelvis is stacked under the spine, I'm going to start by driving my right hip up, driving the right stick down, squeezing that right glute, connect that entire lateral line. Good. Now I'm going to bump my hips up to the left, and I'm driving that left stick down as I'm easing off the tension on the right stick. Good. Bump to the right. Drive that right stick down. Squeeze that right glute. Good. Bump to the left. Drive that left stick down. Squeeze that left glute. Good. Bump to the right. Drive that right stick down. About 30%. Nothing too significant. Good. Bump to the left. Squeeze that glute, drive that left stick down. Let's go one more each way. Drive that right stick down. Tilt your hips to the right. Good. Last one. Bump the hips to the left. Squeeze that, or drive that left hip stick down. Squeeze the left glute. And back to center. And relax. So, now what we're going to do here is we're going to get into a little bit of a more dynamic warm-up here. So, like I said, we're going to do a Caustic Squat, but we're going to add in a rotation along with it. So, the stick is going to be behind mid-back here, okay? And so what I want to do, first of all, I want to make sure you have enough space so you don't hit anything. But hands are straight out here, okay? And what we're going to do, I'm going to start by going to my left, and as I do the Caustic Squat, or as I lunge to that side, I want to rotate and keep the stick on an even plane, right? That's the main thing here. So, from here, we'll start by going out to the left here. So I'm going to step out with my left foot, and I'm going to do a Caustic Squat, driving that right foot into the floor and keeping that right leg straight. I'm going to rotate the right end of the stick far across as I can, but it should be, again, on a flat plane. I'm going to come back to the center, push off that left foot. Okay? Let's go again. Bring the left foot out, rotate to the left, really drive with that right hand, come back to center, and push off that left foot. Okay? Let's go two more. Step out, rotate to the left. Good. Come back to neutral, drive off that left. Let's go one more time. Step out, rotate to the left. Good, back to center, and push off that left foot. Excellent, so now we're gonna switch sides here. Okay, so same thing. Push out on that right foot, rotate to the right. Make sure you breathe. Come back to center, drive off that right foot. Good. Step out, get to that lunge, rotate to the right. Come back to center, drive off that right foot. Good. Let's go again. Step out, get to that Caustic Squat, rotate to the right. Good. Back to center, drive off that right. One last time. Okay. Step out, get to that Caustic Squat, rotate to the right. Really drive that left hand across. Back to center and drive off that right foot. Good. Okay. And so now we're going to get into warming up the spine and shoulders a bit here. Okay. So what I want to do, we're going to take the long stick. I'm going to place it behind my back, and I really want the stick to be across my shoulder blades here, right? So the movement here is we're actually going to first start with lateral rotation, and then we're going to get into circles. We're going to combine it all, okay? So hands are straight out, palms on the stick, okay? Get into a horse stance, try not to compensate, squeeze those glutes. Make sure they're tight to lock that lumbar and hips in, okay? So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go with lateral first. So I'm gonna laterally tilt my spine to the right. Good. Now we're gonna go left. Good, right. So I'm trying to close that angle on my rib cage and pelvic area. Left. Good, right. And left. Good. Come back to being level. Now I'm going to rotate forward or left to right here. So from here I'm going to rotate the right into the stick forward or rotate to my left, driving with that right hand. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to drive that left hand forward, rotating my shoulders, but I'm not rotating my hips. My hips are staying even, want to stay square. Rotate to the left, drive that right hand forward here. Good. Rotate to the right, drive that left hand forward. One more time, rotate to the left, drive that right hand forward. Rotate to the right, drive that left hand forward. Good, now let's combine them, let's create a circle here, right? So, look at each, one end of the sticks is to make sure you're creating a circle. Movement is coming from the spine and the shoulders. It's not coming from the lower body. Lower body stays still. So from here, I'm gonna look to my right, look at the right end of the stick, and I'm gonna start by trying to draw a circle by moving my shoulders and spine. Okay? Left shoulder comes forward, right shoulder goes back. All right? Trying to add in some rotation along with a little bit of lateral flexion here. Good. So start with the circles small. You can progressively make them bigger to get more range of motion. Good. Now let's reverse directions. So let's go backwards here. So let's go with those small circles again. Feel that spine loosening up a bit. Slowly, if you can, progressively make those circles bigger so the movement becomes a little bit more exaggerated. Breathe. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Relax, slide those hands back in. Then up and over, and relax. Let's take a second here. So, we're gonna get into, again, we're gonna get into core drills today. And so we are gonna use a wall. So if you have a wall, you might wanna get close to it, okay? So, what I wanna do is I wanna work on core specific activation in particular movements or particular positions. So today is going to be a split position specific type of core drill. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take this stick, place it back. We're only going to need one stick for this. Also, it'd be helpful to know on the pad if you need to, okay? So what I want to do here, I'm going to go down to one knee here, okay? So I'm gonna make this hard by actually having my inside leg forward, okay? So I'm gonna be in a stance where I can get a little bit of a split here, okay? Both hips are gonna be at 90, it's basically about a 90-degree angle here between the knee and the hip. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have the stick roughly about the same height as my sternum, okay? And that end of the stick is gonna be driving into the wall here, okay? So I'm gonna have my elbows in, and I wanna keep them at 90 degrees here, so I'm gripping at shoulder width, okay? Back foot, my big toes into the floor, so I'm dorsiflexing that ankle, okay? So what I wanna do from here, with my arms at 90 degrees, first thing I wanna do, I wanna activate. So I'm gonna drive that big toe down, squeeze the glute, and then I'm gonna drive the stick into the wall, about 50% tension, just to make sure I don't push myself over. Want to drive, keep pushing, keep pushing. Trying to push with those arms, don't lean into it. Good, and ease off. Perfect, so now we're gonna go into hovering that back knee, okay? So if you have any pain or anything going to feel in your back or feel any knee pain, start from the top and then work down if you can, okay? So, from here, I want to make sure I'm gripping the ground with my front foot. Okay, I'm going to go through the same progression, drive that back foot down, squeeze the left glute, drive the stick into the wall, 40%. And then I'm going to hover that back knee. So driving the stick into the wall. Hold, stay up tall. Good, 3, 2, 1, back down. And ease off. Good. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. This time we're gonna extend the arms out. So we're gonna push those arms out, lengthen that lever. Okay? So I get set up in position. Same thing, drive the back foot down, squeeze the left glute, drive the stick into the wall, should be at about 60 to 70% tension, or enough to make sure you're not pushing yourself over. Gonna ease, so you're gonna bring that knee up, extend those hands out, still push it into the wall. Hold. Good, 3, 2, 1, back down. Bring the stick back in, and ease off. Good, let's go one more time here, okay? Same thing, arms at 90 degrees, okay? Drive that back foot into the floor, squeeze that left glute, drive the stick into the wall, hover that back knee, extend those hands out, hold, 3, 2, 1, back down, bring the stick back in, and ease off. Good, so now we're gonna switch. I'm gonna turn around, okay? So we're gonna do that same thing. Okay, first start by driving the stick into the wall here, right? So, dorsiflex that back ankle, arms at 90 degrees, roughly about sternum height. Okay, drive that back foot down, squeeze the right glute, drive the stick into the wall, 50%, push. Hold. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good. So now we're going to hover that back knee off the floor, okay? All right, arm at 90 degrees. Drive that back foot into the floor, squeeze the right glute. Arms are at 90 degrees. Drive. Hover that back knee off the floor. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Bring that knee back down and ease off. Good. Now we're going to do 2 more, extending those arms out. Okay. Same thing. Drive that back foot into the floor. Drive that right hip. Push stick into the wall, 70%. Hover that back knee. Extend those hands out. Still pushing into the wall. Try not to lean into the stick. And 3, 2, 1. Drop that back knee down. Bring the stick in. And ease off. Good. Let's go one more time here. Okay. Get set in that starting position. Drive that back foot down. Squeeze that right glute. Drive the stick into the wall, 70%. Hover that back knee. Extend those hands out. Still pushing into the wall. Good. 3, 2, 1. Drop that back knee down. Bring the stick back in. And ease off. Good. Okay. So now we're going to get into working on controlling the rib and pelvic area. So again, we're still going to need a wall or a corner of the wall, something stable for you to push against. And so I'm going to go to the floor here. I'm going to lay on my back. And I'm going to place the sticks into what would be the corner of the wall, okay? Or something stable. So from this position here, I want to keep my arms straight, okay? Now my arms are about stacked over my shoulders. Okay, if you want to make it harder, you can always scoot down or bring your arms up higher. Okay, so here, I'm actually going to bring my feet in closer to my glutes as I'm going to do a bridge. And what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to keep my rib cage down, and I'm going to drive those sticks into the wall, 60% tension, keeping my pelvis tucked. Make sure you breathe. Feel all those anterior core tissues turn on. Good. Now we're going to ease off. Now we're going to progress it, okay? So now we're going to bring the knees up to to 90 degrees. Okay? Arms straight. Same thing, just drive those sticks into the wall. Let's go 75%. Push. Keep that rib cage down, pelvis tucked. Hold. Good. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Bring the feet down. Take a second. Now we're going to start to utilize mobilizing the lower body. So we're going to do repetitions, and we're going to do 8. The main objective here is to make sure we're still driving the sticks down, keeping the rib cage down, and keeping the pelvis tucked as we're moving our legs, okay? So, arms are straight, get your knees up to 90 degrees, drive the sticks down, make sure the rib cage and pelvis is aligned. Now from this position, I'm going to start to lower my heels to the floor, keeping a 90-degree angle on my knees. Then I'm going to bring them back up when my heels touch. That was 1. Let's go again. Bring them down, slow and controlled. As soon as they touch, bring them back up. That's 2. Go again. Touch. Back up. 3. Bring them down, slow and controlled. 4. Let's go 4 more. Bring them down. Touch. Back up. 5. 3 more. Touch. Up. 6. Bring them down. Good. Back up. 7. Last one. Bring them down. Touch. Back up. 8. Good. Ease off. And relax. So, that's one way to kind of work on establishing that good core positioning, especially when it comes to the rib cage and pelvis. So now, we're going to get into a 90-90 position since we're already on the floor here, okay? This is what I originally wanted to do. So, for 90-90s, everybody could use a little bit of work, but if you need to, you can always go into a shin box, which is closing the angle of the knee, right, of both knees, and that'll make it a little bit easier, okay? If you're pretty flexible, you can open up that angle to make it 90 degrees. So, what I'm gonna be focusing on here is the stick is gonna be pressing to the wall. So my right leg is forward, the end of the stick is going to my right. This is gonna help keep me upright. That's what I'm gonna be using the stick for. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on this back hip by opening up that back hip here, okay? So I'm gonna out here. Now, I'm gonna grab the stick and I'm gonna grab mainly with my right hand, okay? So right hip is forward. I'm gonna grab the stick with my right hand. I wanna try to keep my chest forward as best as I can. Now what I'm gonna do, from here I'm gonna drive the stick into the wall here with my arms straight and shoulder down. I'm gonna drive this right knee into the floor here, okay? Now I'm gonna lift this left knee off the floor, keeping my left foot in contact. So from here, let's go ahead and hover that left knee off the floor, driving the foot into the floor. Hold. And 3, 2, 1, back down. And ease off. Let's go 2 more reps. So what we're doing here is we're getting the knee in this position of internal rotation, trying to work on external rotation. Okay, same position. Arms straight, shoulder down. Drive the stick into the wall, about 50-60% tension. Drive this front knee into the floor. Good. Lift that left knee, driving that left foot into the floor here. Hold. And 3, 2, 1, back down. And ease off. Let's go 1 more rep here, okay? Right, arm straight. Drive the stick into the wall, drive the right knee down, drive that back foot in, and lift that left knee, or back knee. Hold. Good. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. and relax. Good. Let's go and switch sides here. Now, I'm going to go through that same series of activation. Okay? Left hand's on the stick. Both legs at 90 degrees. Okay, drive the stick into the wall. Drive that front leg into the floor. Drive the back foot into the floor and lift that right knee. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Back down and ease off. Now what you're also going to feel, you're going to feel a ton of oblique activation on that back leg or that leg that's back. You're going to feel a ton of oblique activation there. Let's go 2 more. Arm straight. Drive the stick into the wall. Drive that front leg into the floor. Lift that back knee. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Back down. Ease off. Let's go one more time here. Okay. Arm straight. Drive into the wall. Drive that front knee down. Lift that back knee. Hold. Try to keep yourself forward as much as you can. 3, 2, 1. Ease off and relax. Ooh. Let's take a second here. So, just want to do a little bit of hip or position-specific hip drills. Also want to get into quite a bit of core movement today, right? So now we're going to get into some of the deep fascial stretching. And so, again, we're going to work on loosening up that lower back, or at least stretching it. So, I have a bench here. If you have a chair or something available to you, you might want to grab it. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to show you from a side profile first, so you can get a pretty good idea. Now, I'm going to use the end of this bench, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this. I'm going to have this right hip hanging off the bench because I want this right hip to drop as I go into the stretch. We're going to stretch out that QL region, right? And also get a little bit of the lateral lines as well. So I'm going to have my right glute off the bench here. Bottom of the stick, it's going to be roughly about right in front of that hip joint, okay? So I'm going to have my right hand up as high as I can grab, okay? And so what I'm going to do from here, keep my feet the way they are, I'm going to start to drop that right hip down towards the floor, and I want to keep my pelvis tucked. If I start to anteriorly tilt my pelvis, I'm losing that stretch. I want to posteriorly do a posterior tilt and drop that right hip down. Now I'm going to do, I want to reach as much as I can with the stick on the outside of my leg here. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Going to slowly come out. Good. Now I'm going to bring the stick onto the inside of my leg. So it's going to be between my legs here. And so I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to have my right hand up top as much as I can. Okay? I'm going to drop that right hip down. Now I'm going to start to lean over to my left, or laterally flex over to my left to get an even bigger stretch. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the stick back up to neutral. Ease off and relax. So now we're going to get to the other side. So left glute is off the bench. Okay. Left hand is up top as much as you can grab. The stick is angled out. I'm going to place my right hand on the stick. I'm going to drop that left hip down. Remember, keep a posterior tilt. And then I'm going to reach over to my left, really trying to separate the rib cage and the hips here by dropping that pelvis down actively. Make sure you breathe. Deep breaths here, okay? And 3, 2, 1. Gonna come out of it slowly. And good. So now we're gonna move the stick between the legs here. Okay, same thing. Grab up tall. Right hand on the stick. Drop that left hip down. Then laterally flex to the right. Reaching up with that left hand. Hold. Deep breaths. Good. And 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back to neutral. Come out. And good. Okay. So now what we'll do here is we'll get into the seated hamstring stretch. Okay. So still going to use only one stick here. And I'll go from the side profile. So what we're looking for here is making sure that the back doesn't end up rounded over like this. So from here, I want to bring my left heel out, okay? Touch the floor directly out front. Slight bend to the knee. You want to keep a soft knee here, okay? Now the bottom of the stick, I'm going to have it roughly maybe about 6 to 10 inches in front of the heel of my front foot here, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the stick on my right shoulder. I'm going to place both hands on the stick, and I want to stay up tall here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drive that left heel down lightly, about 15 to 20%, and then I'm going to start to hinge forward. Once I find that hamstring stretch, I'm just going to hold that position. Good. Make sure you breathe. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Let's go through 2 more breath cycles. Out. Good. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out. Good. Slowly come back up. Good. Ease off that tension. Bring that left foot back. Now we're going to switch shoulders. Sticks on the left shoulder now. Right heel is going to be forward. Remember, keep a soft bend on that knee. Okay? Want to make sure we're staying up tall. Try to keep the spine as neutral as you can. Now we're going to hinge, driving that right heel down into the ground lightly. Once you find that stretch, hold. Good. Just breathe. Deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Good. Let's go through 2 more. Breathe in. Out. One more time. Out. Good. Slowly come back up. And ease off that tension. Good. Okay. So now we're going to get into stretching out the front of the hip, or more so that anterior sling system a little bit here. So I'm going to have a pad. I'm going to place it down on the floor. Okay. So what we're going to do here, we're going to place the pad close to the bench. So you might want to use a couch if you have one, right? So I'm going to place my left foot on top of the bench. Top of my foot is down. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop down into a hip flexor stretch here. Okay? And so what I want to do, I'm going to reach up and grab the stick with my right hand. Okay, so I'm creating a long line from my pec down to my hip flexor anterior part of the hip here. Now, if you're in a stretch here, that's fine. Take a second. Focus on breathing. So let's go through 3 breath cycles. Okay, same thing. Deep breath in. Out. Good. Let's go 2 more. Deep breath in. Out. One more time. Deep breath in. Out. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to do, keeping my right hand up tall, I'm going to drive that back foot into the bench lightly, 10%, squeeze that left glute. I'm going to shift my hips forward a bit. Okay, then I'm going to rotate my torso, my shoulders to the right. Really feel everything opening up on that left hip. Good. 3, 2, 1. Gonna bring it right back to neutral. Slowly ease off. Good. Or come out, assist yourself up using the stick. Now we're gonna switch sides. Okay? So now we're gonna go left foot forward. Right foot is back on the bench. Okay? Drop that right knee down. Okay, we're gonna go through that same process. I just want to make sure, again, we're focusing on breathing, try to allow those tissues to loosen up a bit. So, grab up tall with that left hand, okay? Focus on your breathing. Let's go through 3 breath cycles. Deep breath in, out. Good. Deep breath in, out. Good. Deep breath in one more time. Out. Good. So now we're going to do here, same thing we do on the other side, right? I'm going to drive that back foot into the bench, squeeze the right glute, shift my hips forward just a little bit. And I'm going to rotate my spine to the left. With that big stretch, make sure you're breathing, focus on your breathing here. Good. 3, 2, 1. Slowly rotate back forward, back to neutral. Good. Ease off that tension. Okay, use the stick to assist yourself back up. And excellent. Okay, so now let's get into stretching out the lat and rib cage. Okay, and the tricep being in this position here. So I'm going to move the bench out of the way. I'm going to move this back. And so I'm going to take the stick and I'm going to place it behind my back. Okay? So for me, I am really tight in my triceps and lats. So this is going to be, so if you have a little bit of pain here, like in your shoulder, you can always reduce that range of motion. You can bring your hand up a little higher. Okay? So you want to try to grab down as much as you can, kind of like so. So with my left hand gripping the stick with my thumb facing down towards the floor here. Okay? So my right hand, my palm is facing towards me. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull the stick down. I'm going to automatically start to stretch that tricep here. And now I want to drive that elbow up higher. Still pulling down with the left hand. Now from this position with my feet forward, okay, I'm going to laterally flex to the left. Now start to get those lats a bit along with the triceps. Hold. Going to come back up. And ease off. Good. Now I'm going to switch sides. So now my left hand is up and over. Right hand is down. Again, thumb facing down towards the floor with that bottom hand. Okay? So I'm going to do that same thing, go through that same series of activation. I'm going to pull down with the right arm. Okay? Drop my left elbow up. Good. Take advantage of that stretch in the tricep here. Good. Now I'm going to laterally flex to my right. Breathe. Good. 3, 2, 1. Come back up. Ease off. Today's live class. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Hope you guys had a good class. Be sure to make sure to check out some of our other videos and classes that are on YouTube. And hope you guys have a good day. Happy Saturday and happy weekend.